Welcome to Yoga Hour, my favorite hour of the week. The word of the day today is permission. This month in the Hub, we've been working with the mantra, be present. And this passage was floating around in my head from Brene Brown's Braving the Wilderness. I knew I needed to go find it for today. She has this quote saying, "I'm doing that thing I do when I'm afraid. I'm floating above my life, watching it and studying it rather than living it." As changes are coming up for me in my life, I've noticed this feeling of like hovering above a little bit. So this was a helpful reminder. She says, "I need a permission slip to stop being so serious and afraid. I need permission to have fun today." And so if you follow Brene at all, she indeed does this. She gets out Post-it notes and she writes to herself and she writes to others that might be listening and watching. What is your permission slip today? Take a comfortable seat, sit up nice and tall in your spine. Instead of writing on the Post-it note, I ask you to draw your palms together, your thumbs to your sternum, and give yourself permission within and the practice today and the movement on our yoga mat today to not be afraid. Be present. Try the poses that are hardest and just see what happens. Allow that to take you into each breath. Expand the breath from the belly outward. Exhale and release fully, completely. Do your best to breathe in and out of the nose. Empty out the breath through the mouth when you need a bigger sigh of release. And we'll start today, palms down along your thighs, nod your chin to your chest, and just rock your head a little bit from side to side. Keep the head right ear over towards the right shoulder. Walk the fingertips out. And then take the right hand on top of the left ear for a little length. Bring both hands back to the thighs, chin to the chest, left ear over towards the left shoulder. Walk the right fingertips out and the left hand on top of the right ear. Again, a little bit of lengthening here. And then bring it all back to the center. Hands down, chin down. Lift the head. Open your eyes. Okay, come on over to all fours. And find cat and cow. So hands underneath the shoulders, knees under our hips. Good tabletop position. And then move from there. Every inhale, pull the chest forward and through, eyes and tailbone up to the sky. On the exhale, press down through the hands and knees, round the back and drop the head. Take it slower, take it faster. Work with your breath. Keep going like that. And then stretch out to downward facing dog. Hands a little more forward, feet back. Lift the hips up and back. In down dog, continue the movement, a little pedaling through the feet. Let the hips shake, look underneath the armpits. First downward facing dog for our practice. Find you. All right, let's power up here. Inhale, come forward to plank pose, top of your push-up. Pull your heels in close, squeeze your glutes, lengthen your tailbone, tone the belly, look a little forward rather than straight down. Hold it. Top of plank, always from toes or from the knees. Find the one that you sustain the best. Let's try a little hover, lower down, bend the elbows, squeeze them into the sides and hover, hover, hover. Chaturanga Dandasana right off the bat here. You are here, hold it. And then release all the way down to your belly. Interlace the hands behind your back and lift everything that you can up off of the mat. Hands can come unlaced for most ease. And then everything releases down, push back to child's pose. Change to downward facing dog. Step your right foot through to your low lunge. Permission to take more steps. Take the time. Knee over ankle, fingertips in line with our toes. Lift your hips a little higher rather than lower and make your left leg, your back leg really strong and secure. Add the twist, right hand up to the sky. Lower the right hand down, step it back to plank. Again, hold it here. We're starting slow with that power. And then lower, push up, hover right above the earth. Lower it all the way down. Again, hands back behind you. Open or closed. Lift up. Exhale, press back to child's pose. Change to downward facing dog. Step the left foot through to your low lunge. Take the time, the effort. Full stride there, feet hip distance apart. Add the twist, left hand up to the sky. Lower the left hand down again, step back to plank. One more time through that slow, powerful release down, hover. Lower down to the belly, interlace the hands behind your back, lift up. Locust pose, hands bound here. And lower it down, press back to child's pose. Downward facing dog. Again, right foot forward to the low lunge. This time, hands to the inside of your foot, down dog lunge. Spin the back heel down and walk your hands forward. Walk the hands towards the front corner of the mat or more towards the side. Keep the weight in your feet. Broaden the right knee more towards the pinky toe edge of your foot. Bring the hands in around the front foot again, and we'll switch sides. Try a step or even a jump. Left foot forward, right foot back. Spin the back heel down, hands to the inside. Down dog lunge again. Hands can go more forward towards the front corner, more out to the side. We're looking to broaden and expand from hips down to the feet here. And And again, walk the hands in. This time, step forward, both feet to the front of the mat. Stand up, mountain pose. Turn the palms in, just straight down by your side. Steady, firm. I've got this. Stay present. Stay with the permission to keep going. Lift both arms up to the sky. Clap palms together, cross at your thumbs for a little bit more power and effort. Lift up 1 inch taller. Lean your whole body to the right. Push your hips more towards the left. Look to the side or even up towards the sky. Come back to your center. Give it a go up and over to the second side. Squeeze the upper arm bones to or behind your ears. Looking good. Come back to the center. Keep the arms overhead, right foot forward. Step your left foot back into a high lunge. And then do the same thing. Lean to the right. Inhale, come to the center, step forward. Ooh, I lost my balance. Keep the left foot forward, step the right foot back. Lean to the left. And when we fall, we just get right back up. Fall down 7 times, get up 8. One of Darren Rhodes' favorite sayings. Come back to the center, step the right foot forward. Exhale, forward fold. Step all the way back to downward facing dog. Lift your right leg into the air, 3-legged dog. Pull knee into the chest and hover forward, plank. Now step the right foot all the way through for that lunge. Use low belly support. Lower your left knee to the ground. Hands to the waist, lift your torso. Okay, let's get stronger in our legs. Squeeze them in. That gives us more support for the lift in the upper body as the hips go down and forward. Think more lift and curl over the upper back. Look up to the sky. It can help here to squeeze your elbows in to try to touch behind your back. And then slowly back to neutral spine. Hands down, go all the way back, downward facing dog. Take it to the second side, so left leg up and back. And then pull the knee into the chest, hover forward, stay. Think low belly, ready? Let's give it a go. Step into your low lunge. Lower the right knee to the ground, hands to the waist again, lift the torso, strong in the legs. A little lower in the hips. This time, can we try hands interlaced behind our back, squeeze the elbows in, then extend the arms as you lift and open through the chest. Release the arms. Step back to plank. Again, coming into that strong, steady plank pose, top of our push-up. Lower down to the mat, cobra, peel from the hips up to the shoulders, top of the head, up away from the mat. Keep a little bend in the elbows and squeeze them into your side. Change to downward facing dog, tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back. Side plank, balance on your right hand, the outer edge of your right foot. You can stack the feet or take a step forward with the left foot. Take the left arm up to the sky. In your version of side plank, try to press down through the right hand so it gives more levity and lift out of the right shoulder. And then let's all try left arm more overhead so you get an even longer line in the body. Reach, reach, reach. We've done this a lot this month. 2 hands down to the mat. You're back to down dog. Give it a breath. And then right into the second side. Have an angle from your left wrist to your left shoulder so that even as you turn to side plank, they're not directly stacked on top of one another. Right arm up to the sky or way long overhead. Always use the option of side plank with the legs that's going to make it sustainable for you and grow that power and permission to keep evolving the practice. Downward facing dog, you go back, 2 hands, 2 feet. Look to your hands and step or jump all the way to the front end of your yoga mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Stand up, let's reach our arms up to the sky. Keep the arms upright. Utkatasana, chair pose is next. I like feet about hip distance apart. You choose, feet together, feet a little more apart. Sit down into your legs. And you can think butt back and out at first to get into the hips and thighs, and then try to pull in the upper back. Squeeze the tips of the shoulder blades in, look straight ahead or even up past the fingertips here. Stay with Utkatasana for one more breath. And then exhale, forward fold, fingertips find the ground again. Step back to downward facing dog. We're going into side plank a second time, right hand outer edge of the right foot. This time, can you place your left foot into tree pose? It could be lower on your calf or higher on the thigh. There's this funny thing that happens, tree pose and side plank, I think makes it more doable than the stack of the legs version. Give it a try. Permission to keep evolving. You're here, you're with it, you're doing it. Downward facing dog. Second side. Left hand outer edge of the left foot and then pull your right foot into tree pose. Again, it can be low down at the ankle or keep pulling it a little higher above the knee. Push your thigh or leg into the foot and vice versa, just like in standing tree pose. Nicely done. One more breath. And then downward facing dog. Look to the front of your mat. Step or jump to the front. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Stand up, reach the arms to the sky. Utkatasana, again, bend the knees, sit into your thighs. Change here into eagle pose. Wrap the right leg on top of the left. Wrap the right arm under the left. Come back to the palms or hold on to your shoulders. Every single thing that's touching, squeeze it in. Steadier to one another. You've got this. Breathe. Unwrap the right leg, unwrap the arms. Exhale, chair pose, bend the knees, sit into your thighs. Left leg on top. The higher you cross in the thighs, the easier it is to get that second wrap. That being said, high cross in the thighs is difficult. So we're balancing what works. Left arm under the right. Think knees more forward, head, shoulders more back. Unwrap the legs. Unwrap your arms. Exhale, forward fold. Keep the right foot forward. Step your left foot back into a low lunge. Warrior two, spin the back heel down. Cartwheel the upper body all the way up. Shoulders stack right over the hips. Gaze out over your right fingertips. Bend the right knee an inch more than you usually do. Sit lower into the right thigh. Give yourself that trying. Side angle pose. Elbow to knee, top arm, palm down overhead. If that's feeling good today and you want a little more reach, right fingertips to the ground can do it as well. Take the left hand back to your waist. Look down to the floor. Everyone, heel toe that left foot in until your right leg, your front leg, can get more weight into it. And hop on up, half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. Make the left leg, the lifted leg, as straight as possible. Right leg does not have to go straight. Keep the fingertips on the floor. And then try left hand back up and overhead, like we were trying in side plank, like we did in side angle. I have a wall there to stabilize, even more helpful. Maybe you do too. All of this comes back down to low lunge. Inhale, high lunge. Lift the torso, lift the arms. And step both feet to the front of the mat. Keep the arms overhead, left foot forward, step the right foot back. On this side, we'll go right into warrior two from here. Spin the back heel down, open it on up. Extend the arms out on either side, gaze out over the left fingertips. Belly breathing, in and out of the nose as much as you can. Take it to side angle, elbow to the knee, top arm palm down overhead. So again, this right arm is where we're coming back to as much as possible for half moon pose. To make it more doable to get there though, I take hand to the waist, fingertips to the floor, hop the right foot in, no grace needed, and then lift up. Once you have your legs pretty steady, try the right arm back overhead. Ooh. Let's change it to our low lunge. And this time step it backwards, downward facing dog. Everybody come down to your knees, a few breaths, a few rounds, and cat and cow should feel nice here. And then change to sit down on your seat. Stretch your legs out in front of you. Arms straight out in front of you. Turn the palms in. And I want you to bring your knees right in to where your crease of the elbows is. Boat pose. Funny way of saying boat pose. We're lifting the knees to about the crease of the elbows. And then make the legs as straight or as bent as works. Can you hold boat for me? Take in another breath. Try to sit more forward on the sits bones. Lift the chest. And then lower the legs. We'll slide all the way down to our back. Arms and legs straight up to the sky. Lift the head and shoulders up. Try to make the fingertips touch your toes. Keep the ribs as lifted off of the ground as possible here. Right leg stays up. Scissor the left leg down and lean a little bit to your right. Come back up to the center. Right leg down, lean a little bit to your left. Again, that left shoulder blade wants to go down to the ground. See if you can keep it lifted. It's hard. Back to the middle. Go back to the first side and center, second side and center. Hug both knees into your chest. Sole the left leg on the ground. Do half happy baby on the right leg. Arm to the inside, hold the outside of your foot. Flex the foot up towards the sky. And then as the right thigh comes lower towards your mat, extend the left leg and keep your body balanced in its weight. So I'm trying my best to reach the left heel longer towards the front edge of the mat, which will keep me from rocking over towards the right hip. Do the same. It's a little bit of a breather. Still plenty of abdominal work going on with the opening in the hips here. And then pull it back into the center. Sole the right foot on the ground. Flex the left foot up to the sky. Hold it like half happy baby. I call this one reclined lunge or supine lunge. So just like making the shape of a lunge in your legs while you're lying on your back. Try to steady and lengthen the breath. Looking good. Pull it back in, knees to the chest. And then we're just rolling over onto our belly. So however that works for you. Roll all the way over onto the belly. Swim the arms and legs out so you get all of your length first. And then we go to bow pose. There's 2 tries at this, which means you can go one side at a time or 2 sides together both times. Okay, I'm going to reach both hands back. Try to hold on to your top of the feet. More like your feet are pointed. Spread the toes. And then let's lift everything that we can up. Same actions apply as in those belly down back bends, which means if you're not holding on to the feet here, it's the same exact work, just different shapes. Stretch the chest forward and the knees back. And then lower down, release, let go of the feet for a moment. Forehead or a cheek to the mat, maybe shift the hips a little side to side. Second time, so if you did one side at a time, obviously you're grabbing the second hold. If you went both feet the first time around, I've got a little more ask for you. When you reach back this time, can you hold on to your ankles? So it's a little lower. Flex your feet. So it's kind of like hooking your hands into your ankles. Squeeze the inner thighs closer to one another than you just did. And then can we push our thighs down onto the yoga mat, but lift just the chest up. Still extend your heels away from your body. Second form of bow pose here. And release. Let's all happily go to child's pose here. Hips back to the heels. And then come back up to a seated position. Do half happy baby again with your right leg. This time from the seated position, the arm still goes slightly to the inside, but we hold on to the outside of the foot. You can use both hands to help you. And then we're going to flip that elbow more up to the sky and keep trailing the foot back, back, back. Version A, you're staying here. Version B, you wear the right leg on your shoulder with hands down. Version C, lift your butt or your heel or both off of the ground. Ekahasta Bhujasana, one leg arm pose, extend out. And second side, again, we all start with version 1, half happy baby in an upright position. Give yourself permission to fail in this pose. Keep going a little bit. What's the worst that happens? You don't get off the ground. Go for B, go for C versions. One hand arm pose. And then it's 2 legs, 2 arms back down. Shake it all out. Come back over to all fours. This is a little like you're going to child's pose, but we're going to tuck our toes under, spread the knees apart, and then push your hips back. So it's sitting on tucked toes. Walk your hands closer to your knees and round your back. So tuck toes, a little like child's pose. Big round in the back like cat pose. And then it's this exact same shape, but we're trying to bring our knees onto our upper arm bones. So it's that same rounded back work, but now instead of knees on the ground, knees on your upper arm bones for crane. Try lifting your feet, one or both at the same time, up off of the ground. Again, what's the worst that happens here? You've tried. Give yourself that permission to keep trying. Don't be afraid. And then we'll stretch it back out to downward facing dog. Right leg up into the air, 3-legged dog. Freedom in that lift. Step it all the way forward into your low lunge. Bring the hands to your front thigh. Keep your belly down close to or against your thigh. And add a twist in here. Left elbow towards the right side. The elbow can stay in space. Hook across the leg. If you're looking for a lot more stability, lower the left knee to the ground. If you're okay with being shaky and just finding your way, keep it up. Untwist, set the hands down, step it all the way back to downward facing dog. Step the left foot forward into your low lunge. Bring the hands to your front thigh. Pause, take a breath. Make sure your feet are at least as wide as the hips. That base is going to help when you add the rotation in the torso. And then palms together and twist. Again, right elbow can stay more lifted. Or try to fold it down. Gotta dig in there to get the twist. We're working palms together to the center of the heart, left elbow straight up towards the sky. Untwist. Lower the hands down, step back, downward facing dog. Look forward to your hands. Step or jump to the front of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Stand up, reach the arms to the sky, and bring palms together, center of the chest. I've had several of you comment that this sequence, this month, feels the hardest. Yes, there's lots of challenge. There's lots of arm balances, lots of back bends going on. It's all there. It's there to push us. Take in another breath. Let's keep going. Last big push here for this section. Lift up, exhale and fold. Half lift. Step back to plank. Lower down to the yoga mat. Peel the chest up for cobra or even Up dog takes you just hands and feet on the ground, hips lifted, straight arms and legs. Okay, downward facing dog. Look to your hands. Bear crawl, meaning bend your knees and crawl your feet up and over towards your right hand. Bend both elbows, side crane, balance the legs on your right upper arm bone. Maybe even stretch the legs out straight. Set the feet back down, bear crawl to downward facing dog. Bear crawl, ton of work just in that. It's a bend of the knees. Crawl it up. You could stay and work there. That is tons of activity. Second crawl is knees more towards the left elbow. Again, if you've got a little bend in the elbows, a lot of bend in the knees, and you're holding this, man, you are challenging yourself. Put the thighs onto your upper left arm, maybe even the feet off, maybe the legs extend. Pull it all back in. Bear crawl back, downward facing dog. Look to your hands. Step or jump to the front. Half lift, happy you're off of your hands for a moment. Exhale, fold. Stand up, arms to the sky. Palms together, center of the chest. One more flow, a little like that. Lift the arms up. Exhale, fold. Half lift. Stay with me. Step it back to plank. Lower down. Cobra or up dog. Down dog. Okay, we're going to celebrate our power here. Bear crawl. This time, right thigh faces the left. Lean again. Side crane. Can you extend your right leg forward, your left leg back? In and down. Bear crawl back. So there's a twist that happens first here. Bear crawl in. Twist. Knees to the right. Still look forward in between your hands. Pose A is right here. You're staying with it. You're holding with it. Second, knees a little more up onto your upper arm bone. Third, left leg forward, right leg back. And everyone downward facing dog. Child's pose. That's the sigh out through the mouth here. Let it be. We can do hard things, right? Every single day we do. Okay, dolphin pose. So palms flat, forearms flat on the ground, or interlace the hands to make that a little more doable. Try to keep your elbows only as wide as your shoulders. And then legs, like downward facing dog, tuck the toes, lift the hips. Your dolphin pose. We want head off of the ground. Clear as much space between the ground and the head as possible. And you do that by continuing to press forearms down and feel a lift underneath the shoulders. Maybe even look a little bit forward. Trying to get into the upper back here. Change to your hands, full dog pose. And then change right leg up into the air, three-legged dog. Step it all the way forward into your lunge. Left knee to the ground. We've done this before. But this time, arms up to the sky, Anjaneyasana. Bend at the elbows, make goalposts, goddess arms, squeeze the tips of the shoulder blades in, expand tops of the shoulders out to the elbows. Straighten the arms again. Lower the hands around the front foot, step it all the way back, downward facing dog. Second side, left foot forward. Get your full stride and then lower the back knee. Okay, let's come up. Find your way here. Be with your breath. Release Anjaneyasana, step back again, downward facing dog. This time, pigeon pose. It's gonna feel good. Right knee to the right wrist, heel towards the left hip. You choose body upright or body forward. Torso upright or torso forward and down. What do you need at this moment? Don't be afraid to find it. Permission to rest, permission to push. If you're upright, add the quad stretch. Pull the back heel in, take hold. Same hand as foot. Pull the heel closer to the sit bone by bending your elbow up towards the sky. Turn the palms in, the hand in. Do your best to square off hips and shoulders in any version that you're in. And then a slow and steady release to downward facing dog. We've done the arm balances. We've got some back bends to go. Left knee to the left wrist, heel towards the right hip. Again, pigeon pose. If you're looking for more release, more opening, a little more softening, stay forward and down. Upright position is going to be harder, more challenging. Adds in the back bend piece. If you're upright, go for the quad stretch. Right heel, right hand. Turn fingers down and forward, elbow up to the sky. Re-square hips and shoulders towards the front of the mat. And then again, everybody safely, slowly release back to downward facing dog. Plank pose. From knees or toes lower down to the mat. Okay, turn over onto your back. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 back bends here. I'll do it progressively harder, more challenging. A, B, C, D. You do those options as works. So it might be 4 versions of A. It might be 2 of A, 2 of B, like however it comes, okay? Lie down. We always build from our foundation. So bridge poses first. Soles of the feet on the ground, hip distance apart. Head, shoulders, hips, feet down. And then keep head, shoulders, feet down, but lift the hips up. You hold the edges of your yoga mat or hands underneath. If hands are going underneath to interlace, shoulders walk up and in a little bit more. Anytime we're in back bends, keep looking up towards the ceiling the whole time, not off to the sides. That'll keep your head, neck, and shoulders happiest. Lift, lift, lift here. Squeeze your glutes, just like they power you in your standing poses. They're going to be the difference maker here. And then release the hands and lower the hips down. All right, so you've got a few more versions of that, or you're continuing to build on. So B is the same thing. Everybody does bridge pose, lift it on up. And then instead of hands underneath, B is hands by your shoulders with the elbows up to the sky where you can see them in your peripheral vision. And we're trying to lift just to the top of our head, and it's not a roll to your top of your head, but as if you're doing a push-up, engage your legs and your arms, lift just enough to set the top of your head down to the mat, and you should, again, still be able to see your elbows and your peripheral vision. And then you've got to do that little push-up to lift the head again, tuck, and everybody's down. That's B. Version C is going to be the full lift of the belly, hips, arms straight. Everybody does A first, lift the hips. You stay with A, or you add B to the top of the head. If you're at the top of the head and going for straight arms, ready, 1, 2, 3, go. Oof. Push. I lift the heels off of the ground to give me a little more room in the spine. Then try to walk it in. Carefully lower down. I said 4, right? So we've done 3. You're going to repeat any of those 3. Take a break, or keep playing with me for version 4 or version D. It all starts with A again, lift the hips. This one's called inverted staff pose. You gotta go to the top of the head, lift all the way back up. Inverted staff, you set the head back down and then walk the hands behind your head like Shirshasana A, like headstand A. The feet stay lifted. If you're in version D, you've got to go back to C. And everybody all the way down. Whew, if that doesn't want to make you hug your knees into your chest and give yourself a nice bear hug of gratitude, I don't know what will. Squeeze in. Can you do eagle pose lying on your back here? Right knee wraps over the left, right elbow underneath. Elbows and knees go further away from each other, and then crunch in, further away, and crunch in, further away. Crunch in. Relax the arms out to a T shape. Drop both knees over to the left. Still in eagle legs. Ooh, that doesn't feel great to me, so I'm going to uncross and just stack instead. So do what gives you the best effort here. And then we're back into the center. Left leg on top, right leg on bottom. Eagle, arms and legs again in a supine position. Let's give it 3 crunches. Crunch and open, crunch and open, crunch and open. Arms out to your T. With the left knee on top, drop the legs to the right. That side feels fine to me, keeping eagle legs. Remember that you might have little imbalances from side to side. There's permission for one side to be different. Okay, we come back into the middle. Unwrap everything, right leg to the sky. Hold behind your calf or behind your thigh. Keep the entire back against the yoga mat. Enjoy a steady stretch through the calf, the hamstrings, and a settling of the low back here. Left leg can say sole of the foot or extended. You've done all the strength work. Lower the right leg down, left leg up to the sky. Same work. Stay with your breath. I know for some, the slowing down, the stretching is the harder part. Acknowledge for yourself what works. Arms overhead, feet long out in front of you. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Okay, friends, do a little more unwinding here, whatever you'd like. Is it another strong muscular pose? Is it some rolling around? That's what I do. Is it a inversion or just right to Shavasana? Give yourself the next 60 seconds. Just kind of explore. And then do find your final pose. Shavasana, lie down on your back, extend the arms and legs. If you're feeling a seat of meditation today, a longer yin posture, find your pose. Awareness to breath is that gateway, the permission to be you, be present here. Slowly now bring attention, awareness back together, breath and body, a little bit of movement. Stretch out. If you're lying down, take your time, come back to a seated position. And then palms together, thumbs to the sternum. This gesture honoring the time we've spent on our mat for ourselves, together, honoring the practice itself. Let's close in the sound of Om. As always, you're welcome to sing along, to listen, to tune it out. Empty out the breath. Take a breath in. Namaste.